Hello everyone, my name is Frederick Lopez and you're on the Dark Knight of Steel channel. As you may know, Justice League has arrived in cinemas finally. And was it everything we all hoped for? Well, not exactly. While it may have had some of its moments, it kind of fell short to expectations, and I think we all were expecting a movie that was a bit more epic. But it is what it is, and I just want to go over a brief history of the Justice League and then talk more in depth about the film. Again, this contains spoilers. If you want to see a non-spoiler movie review, click the link below or go to my second channel. I also have a spoilers review. Here is the Justice League report. Now, of course, Justice League was created in the 1960s. They were featured in The Brave and the Bold, created by Gardner Fox, and we have had many incarnations of the Justice League throughout history, whether it be the live-action crossover show with Adam West, Legend of Superheroes, the Super Friends cartoon, all of the different incarnations throughout comics, the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited animated show, the failed CBS pilot from 1997, Smallville's own version of the Justice League in many forms, and the Arrowverse, along with many of the other comic book adaptations we have had. Cyborg was created in Teen Titans in 1980, and he has since evolved to become a Justice League member after the New 52 and is now in Justice League. I've been a huge fan of DC Comics and everything Batman, Superman, and after the Cartoon Network show, I really grew fond of the Justice League, also in video games, comics, in whatever way possible, even the Injustice Gods Among Us video games. So I was really excited to see Justice League. Now I knew it wasn't going to be better than Wonder Woman this year, but I thought we were going to get a better film than what we got. I go more over this in my other reviews, but of course, tragically, Zack Snyder's stepdaughter committed suicide and he had to step down. They brought in Joss Whedon, but this ultimately brings a question of, when is studio interference too much? Studios always want their film to make money. It's always a money-making business. But with Warner Brothers, and especially Zack Snyder films, they have just botched it up completely, starting with Watchmen, his film Sucker Punch. Batman v Superman had a huge disservice with the ultimate cut being cut down to the theatrical. And now we have this debacle of the Justice League that doesn't really feel like anybody's film. Instead, it feels something manufactured by Warner Brothers. To say the least, I wasn't really happy with the changes both Warner Brothers and Joss Whedon made, and I was a bit let down by Danny Elfman's score. Now, it may sound like I'm ranting on the film, but no, I like the film. I just think it could have been better. Of course, we saw this with Warner Brothers previously with Tim Burton and the Batman anthology. We ended up having the Joel Schumacher films due to selling toys. So it's not really an accident that they've had troubles in the past, especially when it comes to making money instead of caring about the characters. But we've also seen other materials shown, other films made by people who give a damn about their characters, whether it be Superman the movie, Wonder Woman, the Dark Knight trilogy. There have been other films, not only in DC Comics, but other superhero films where people have cared about the source material. And Justice League does capture that fun. Ultimately, for Justice League, it suffers from a tone issue from the previous films, and they retcon certain endings from other films, especially regarding Superman's return. You have Steppenwolf, which I don't know why people were getting excited for a great villain. He was pretty lame. I mean, look at him in Superman the Animated Series. He's a supporting character. He's a lackey for Darkseid. And I ultimately thought they needed a red herring for Darkseid. Steppenwolf should have just been a red herring, and they should have faced Darkseid, even if it was the first film. But it is what it is, and I just want to get those cons out of the way before talking about what I liked. I loved Ben Affleck's performance as Batman. He's more like the traditional Bruce Wayne. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is fantastic. I love the scenes between Diana and Bruce in this. Ray Fisher was a standout as Cyborg. Ezra Miller, funny as the Flash. He kind of reminded me more of Michael Rosenbaum from the cartoon. And then we have Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Yeah, nobody's going to make fun of Aquaman talking to seahorses, and they're not going to be making fish jokes about him. This Aquaman is badass. My man. And of course we have Henry Cavill back as Superman. He's more of the traditional Christopher Reeve type of Superman, which is great, but the transition is so jarring and so rushed that he goes from like being the Man of Steel BVS Superman to being like Christopher Reeve without really any real transition. And that bothers me. Ultimately, what hurt this film was Warner Brothers demanding it be under 2 hours. I think if it was longer and they went Zack Snyder's route, it would have been a much stronger film. I don't care what the haters say. This is heresy, but I actually liked BVS and Man of Steel more than I did Justice League, and that should not have happened. But I hope we get to explore this universe much further. It felt like a pilot. There was some bad things, but now it feels like they're moving forward in a certain type of direction now. I liked what I saw for the most part. Besides the CGI and the green screen use, I really did like a lot of the stuff. Batman and the Parademons, the team dynamic was on spot and perfect here. All we need to do is add a Lantern and a Martian Manhunter to the mix and we'll be having a perfect Justice League. And of course the 2 after credits scene, they paid homage to the Flash Superman race, and we have Deathstroke and Lex. Jesse Eisenberg really looks like Lex Luthor now. And I'm excited to see that, whether it be the Injustice League or the Legion of Doom. But in a day and age we have superhero films, sometimes more than one, sometimes you have multiple superhero films. It may seem kind of harsh to complain about everything, be really nitpicky. I'm just thankful that we finally have a Justice League. It's not like everything I hoped it would be personally. I think if I made a Justice League film, it'd be a lot more epic. Or if anybody else did, if we didn't have that type of production problem and Warner Brothers interference, I think we would have had a stronger film, but at least we got one made. It's possible. That's the first step through the door. Now it's a matter of what are they going to do with this universe? What are they going to do with these characters? And I hope it does well enough so we can see where they can go with this. Now, people have mixed opinions. Me, personally, I didn't care for the jokes. I felt like they were badly trying to cater to the fans who bitched about BVS, the tone of it, missed their old Batman Superman, and I felt like they were just complaining about it. They wanted a Marvel movie full of jokes and bad CGI, and that's exactly what we got, and I felt like it lacked some of the depth we had in the previous films. It just upsets me, but I don't want the writer, I don't want Joss Whedon or anybody involved. They should get Patty Jenkins or somebody new. I think they need to respect a director's vision, not have too much interference. You know when was the last time they respected a director's vision? The Dark Knight trilogy with Christopher Nolan. Now, Christopher Nolan is a masterful filmmaker, so nobody's really a Christopher Nolan. But I want these films in the future to have their own identity, their own voice, their own look, and be a complete story onto themselves without any interference, without any cutting, without having to tie into other movies. And I think it'd be much stronger. But I gave Justice League a 3.5 out of 5 and a B+. It's not the worst film ever, but it's not the best. But ultimately, it's not the film we all deserved. It may be the film we needed as DC fans, as Justice League fans, but this is not the film we deserved. We deserve much better. And I'm not going to want to pay for ultimate cuts. If they have an extended cut, I would be happy if it's more like Zack Snyder's original vision. But this can't be like freaking EA games in the video gaming industry with add-ons. No. You don't go to the movies to pay for half a film. You go to the movies to see a complete film, and that's what they need to do. Man of Steel and Wonder Woman didn't have any extended cuts, and they were perfect. Ultimately, this is not only a product of the DC Universe right now, but it's a product of franchising and ultimately superhero films as a whole. The formula is getting tiresome. We have some rare exceptions with Deadpool, Logan, different films like that, but no film should try to copy another's formula. That's what makes a comic so great. They have different stories about heroes, what it means to be human, problems. Also, they don't have one tone. That's what makes them durable to last over the ages. Comic books can be anything and go into any medium, and I kind of wish films explored that more. But for the first outing of the Justice League in this universe, besides the tone issues and the other issues I had, I liked it. It was enjoyable, but I just think that there was a better movie hidden in there somewhere that just got botched up through the production process. And Warner Brothers, you need to stop interfering into your goddamn movies. I am just tired of it. Seriously. It's funny because I told my nephews and niece after we saw Dark Knight Rises, I'm like, you know what? Enjoy this moment. You're not going to see a great Batman film for a very, very long time. Because I was around when they had the Batman anthology, and I saw how badly Warner Brothers' stupid decisions screwed up that franchise too, where we had George Clooney and Bat Nipples. And I saw what they did when they try to franchise stuff and make stuff for money instead of caring about the characters. And I'm afraid if they keep going to this, catering to lighter tones, what audiences think or want, we're going to have another Batman and Robin. But I can see where they want that for money-making reasons. And I think that they need to make films more efficiently. I was floored to find out this film had $300 million and its budget. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That does not show on screen. Blade Runner was made for $150 million, and the money is all over the fucking screen on that one. So Justice League just floored me, but I enjoyed it. There was many fun moments. It was nice to see Cyborg finally, the Mother Box. It was a bit different from Kirby. It was a bit different than Jack Kirby's Fourth World, but it was still nice seeing that. Superman. Somebody remembered he had ice breath. That was awesome. Do you bleed line? You had the Batman stuff. Aquaman, his future wife. All that type of stuff. The Flash was great. They even had a homage to him tripping, which has been a joke among us comic book fans for a while. Ultimately, I felt like it had a lot of build-up and just wasted potential. And that's just sad because I felt like we deserved a better movie. And I'm in the minority. I actually did not like this as much as BVS, Man of Steel, or Wonder Woman. But I did like it better than Suicide Squad. But Suicide Squad has a lot better production values. But Justice League was a mixed bag, nevertheless, but it was still enjoyable and fun on its own. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 and a B+. I just wanted to take some time to focus on the current status of this universe and just comic book films in general now. I felt like they've been too much on the franchising. I'm getting tired of the genre as a whole, but you know what? We have come a long way, and people forget that. We get spoiled. We take things for granted. Sure, we deserve a hell of a lot better, but hey, we've seen worse places, okay? There's worse villains out there than Steppenwolf. You remember the giant cloud in Green Lantern? Trust me, there's many worse villains. But he wasn't meant to be a main villain, and that was part of the problem, along with the other issues. Ultimately, it's just a product of everything going on. And I'm surprised they actually had a film that was watchable after all the stuff they went through. But it is what it is. Let me know in the comments below. You can use spoilers. Let me know what you thought of Justice League. Whether you loved it, you hated it, you thought it was just okay. It was a mixed bag, the tone. Just let me know in the comments below. The jokes don't really do it for me. I'm not that type of person. I mean, I love having fun, but you don't need to be all light, full of jokes every 5 minutes. But you can't be all dark and brooding and just depressing all the time. You can still have seriousness with moments of entertainment, such as films like Spider-Man, X-Men, Batman '89 did it great. It was a dark gothic film, yet had moments of fun and just entertainment in there. Hell, even the Dark Knight trilogy had moments of humor, but it has to feel authentic. It can't be manufactured, and that's part of the problem. It's nice seeing it go from the brave and the bold to the cartoons, Smallville, and now we finally have a Justice League. I never thought in my lifetime I would get to see it this soon. It's just crazy. I thought I'd be 50 years old by the time a Justice League movie came out, but it was enjoyable. I just had no idea the cartoon was going to be much better. But anyway, it may sound like I really hate the film. I just found it disappointing, but I don't absolutely hate it. I just thought it was okay, but something feels empty inside. And I was expecting it to be more epic, and it really should have been. But I ultimately feel sorry for Zack Snyder. He needs to go to another movie studio where they do not screw around with this film. Now, I know this was a different circumstance, but it's just sad because you have all the materials there. It's just a matter of what they did with it. You had everything there you needed to. And I felt like his version would have been a better movie than what we got with Joss Whedon. Yeah, Chris Terrio, he's a great writer with Argo, but like I said in my other reviews, he needs to get the hell away from these movies. He wrote BVS and Justice League, and there's a lot of problems there. And Joss Whedon, I don't want him anywhere near the DC universe. I know he's doing Batgirl. That might be interesting, but no. Just no. Get an original director or get Patty Jenkins. Please. But I am anxious to see what Matt Reeves does with the Batman universe, and I hope Ben Affleck stays. I know he kind of wants to go. I know there's issues, but I think he's done a fantastic job as Batman, and I at least want to see him and Jared Leto meet face-to-face once. But it has hope for the future, and ultimately I love the theme of it having darkness and there being light, and we really needed a theme of hope in the time we live in right now in the world. And I'm really glad to see that, and it's a more hopeful direction. So hopefully if it does well enough, or at least has some home video releases, we'll have a sequel of some sort. And maybe they're saving Darkseid for a solo Superman film. Who knows? Because let's face it, Superman alone could probably take on Darkseid. He doesn't need the Justice League, but we'll have to see. I'm kind of hoping for the Legion of Doom or Brainiac, but we'll have to see where it goes. Just let me know in the comments below what did you think of the film. If you like this video, click the like button. Go ahead and check out my movie review and spoiler review on my other channel. I go more in depth. I know I kind of briefly talked about stuff and it felt more like a rant, but I really went more in depth into materials about the film on those videos. This is just a quick little report I wanted to share on the Dark Knight of Steel channel. And yeah, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Also in the comments, if you have any recommendations for music tributes or like Justice League Batman tributes, feel free to comment in the comments below. Check out my non-spoiler, spoiler review of Justice League, my favorite DC films, my favorite Superman films. I have some other materials there, and pretty soon I'm going to have a binge reviews of The Punisher. So we'll have to see how that is. It's a great time to be a comic book fan. There's some hits, there's some misses, there's some greatness, there's some mediocrity, but at least we have it, and that's better than nothing.